Welcome everyone to today's video. I am super excited to do a lot of research and bring to you a deep dive into long range attack in Age of Z Origins. Long range attack or LRA is one of the most important stats, and understanding this calculation and going through this analysis with me will help you, you know, figure out where it's coming from, how the game calculates it, how do you calculate it in stats. Why is that different when you attack someone? Why is it different when you defend someone? Why is it different in the mines? And essentially clear some misconception about the use of the hero Panda, and see basically in your account how can you look at your biggest chunk of where is your LRA coming from. So without further ado, let's dive into it. So this is my account that I have pulled up. If you click on my info and then click on stats, here you can see all the military stats here. And of course, here you can see this one long range account 424.3. So that's what my account is. And so that's what I put in here. So from my info and stats, that's what it is. And then in this spreadsheet here, I went in and tried to calculate, how did the game calculate this? What exactly goes into it? And if you understand it, that means you can maximize it. One more thing. So when you attack someone, here you can see that I'm going to show you a battle report. And here in the battle report, if you click on details, you'll see that, okay, I attacked this. This is an empty city. Scroll down to the bottom, and here you can see that the long range attack here is 448.5. And so that's this little screenshot that I put in here that you can see that I highlighted. So when you attack someone, this is the long range, this is the LRA. When you um, look in your stats, you can see that it's this. Okay, so here I tried to show you all the different sources of where your LRA is coming up, and how the game calculates it. So the first one makes sense. It's in your commander skills, right? So let's just quickly show you that. Um, Essentially, if you go into uh, my info, commander skills, you'll see that there's two uh, commander skills that give it to you 10% here from long range attack 1. And then, of course, here you have 20%. So most people can easily maximize this as long as you're in war mode and not development. You should have this 30 extra percent of long range attack. And then, the other very easy and common place to find it would be in your academy. And if you didn't know this, you can simply click on it here and click on your academy and click on details, and it'll show you all the research that you've done. So here you can see in long range attack 22.5. There's two researches. The first one is long range weapons that gives you 7.5, and then the long range weapons 2 that gives you 15. The total of that is 22.5. So for most players, uh, at a high enough city with this research that's relatively inexpensive, you should definitely have the 30 from commander skills and the 22.5 from your academy. Pretty straightforward. The next bucket that we want to look into is actually a significant source of hidden long range attacks, especially for players that don't have a lot of money, that can utilize. I've made some videos on how to maximize your tower defense daily, and get your extensions and your extension components. So check out those videos. So here I wanted to show you in your extension facility, you can actually click on this button here that shows you the details of it. But there's one thing to keep in mind. So here you can see that if you look at your equipment, so there's two types of bonuses that come from equipment. First, they'll show you the stats of equipment. And then if you scroll down, you can see actually the extensions that are those component parts that go into each of those equipments. Here, I've broken it down to try to prove it out on my account so that I can understand it. Here you can see that there's long range attack is 51.7, and you can see that I've calculated there's from the radar, I'm getting a good bit. I'm getting it from the apparatus, and then getting it from the computer. So those three add up to be 61.2. You might wonder, well, why doesn't that equal to the 51.7 here? Well, it's just a different terminology. So attack boost actually applies to all long range, mid range, and melee, and then long range attack here is just for long range. So if you look at the components, just long range attack is 51.7. That's that number here, long range attack. attack boost, which applies to everyone, or all the three types of troops, three or tiers and placements of troops, that's the 9.5. So, okay, we've proven out the equipment. Let's now look at extensions. Extensions are a great hidden source here. Here you can see that I have, um, let's quickly look at one of them. So here you can see my only orange equipment. And of course, that's that great source of the 21.5. So, getting orange versus purple, you can see is a big boost. And of course, in the extension component, you'll see a separator here. So uh, I did buy a few blueprint packs to get this attack triangle to level 6. You can see that's the max um, 20 boost. That's a huge boost. And if you compare it to um, your purple triangle, which max is level 5, you can't take it to level 6. It's 13, so that in itself is a 7% jump. So I'm pretty well maxed on the weapons extensions. As you can see, I have a lot of room to improve on what's called a comprehensive extension. So you can see comprehensive one, it's kind of does defense, HP, and attack. So I usually recommend that you focus on the triangles first, and then when you've done all of that and maxed those, work on the comprehensives next, which is I just maxed out this to level 6, and my next step would be to fill these in. As you can see, I have open spots here for a comprehensive one, and then there is a source of increasing LRA pretty easily without spending a lot of money here. So as you can see, there's a good bit that comes from extension. Let's go back. You can see here, scroll down, and you can see from extensions, I am getting in long range attack 59%. So let's see if that holds true. Yep, 59%. And then this is in comprehensive, it's categorized as attack boost. So you'll see that separate stat. Here you can see right here, attack boost 2.3. So I can easily get that up much higher. Then let's move to your biggest source of long-range account, which would be your officers, right? So if you click on here, the best way to I find view officers is to actually try to appoint them. So it's non-intuitive, but when you go to the appoint screen, I like the old view, and it's the best way to see it. Your long-range attack will be coming from all these war officers. I have another video about which ones to select. So if you click on one of these, you can see that, okay, this is my Tifa. It's level 45, and here you will see all the numbers. So I've basically taken these stats and put it in there. So if you look at Tifa, the advanced kill here is 28.24. I put that in. Long range attack, level 15, 28.24, and then long range expert, 12% here at level 12. So let's now dive into some of the details. Now, here you'll see that Tifa, all three stats are included. That's why Tifa is one of the most important ones when it comes to long range attack. Don't be dissuaded by Zeus's main inherent skill, precise shot, doesn't factor into long range attack stat alone, but it's a very important and almost more important than long range attack because of you know just if you look at the percentages here, it's a entirely different multiplier, and it's even more significant. So here you can see that Zeus goes into this stat here: increased damage to long range troops or melee or mid range. So this 22.1, a factor of that is coming from this 14.9. So Zeus, even though his primary inherent skill doesn't go into long range attack, these skills obviously do. But keep in mind, this is extremely important. So don't ignore Zeus. If you can, definitely build it up. It is of course hard to do without buying some packs. Um, so let's now understand really, so Panda is to be is what's the main reason why some confusion arises. So if you look at Panda and you read his skill, essentially it will say that it's siege, army, attack, and HP. So it's almost the same as Tifa, but it only applies to when you're attacking. So that's what's the actually primary difference. So this 24.24%, if you look at it here, is what is separating what shows up in stats, which does not include Panda, and what shows up when you actually attack a base um, in your world. So that, if you look at the difference between these, that's exactly that 24.24%. So Panda's inherent attack is not included. When you attack somebody in the mines, this is what's being used. So even though you're attacking somebody in the mines, it is not a siege, and that your base stats, the Panda's inherent skill is not going to be going into it. So that's something important to keep in mind as you decide between, which ones do you want to build up first, and it clearly sets Tifa and Zeus at a higher tier than Panda. Um, a few more things, the panda is excluded in the stats window, and of course Arthur, which is similar to Panda. Panda is advanced attack, and Arthur is immediate attack. If you have blue heroes, that those would be excluded. Some of the other sources, I'll lump these into kind of all the miscellaneous buckets. So let's look at some of those miscellaneous buckets. Don't ignore your prosperity levels. You should try to get it to a high prosperity level. Here I have level 14 prosperity, working on level 20. Uh, uh, I believe level 20, sorry, level 15. Level 15 is the max. So try to get to that. Houses updated. You can see that, one of the things that I'm building here is houses to get to that 34,600 population to get that 20%. It's almost like a free. So whenever you get attacked, make sure that, you go ahead and get those refugees count up to increase your LRA. And then some of the other ones, your alliance, if you're in a decent one, should have max research. Of course, the game has increased the max on long range attacks. So it used to be level 20, and it used to give 10%. Now I don't know what the max is now, but we're on 21, upgrading on the way to 22. So we have 10.5 in our alliance coming from just your alliance technology research. Another great source is your merit rank. So here you can see I'm a warrant officer, so I'm getting a 15% attack boost to the LRA, which is great. You can see through the ranks that you can get it pretty high. So not only is it an attack boost, you also get a HP and a troop unit boost. One of the best way to get merit is actually doing all three phases in Chaos Land event. So that's a quick tip. And then VIP, if it's active, um, mine is active. So the source of VIP you can see here. At VIP 8, it gives you the first tier of attack boost at 5%. At VIP 9, you get 10. And then at VIP 10, you get 18% attack boost. So also some good LRA boosts there. And then some of these are miscellaneous. I think we had the Alliance event. So if you look at your, let's see, Alliance buildings, you can see if you have these benefit buildings here, it will give you a summary of when you have the war factories. That helps give you some attack boost right here. 2% per war factory, maximum of 5. We have the maximum 5, so you can see in the summary here that the attack boost is plus 10. So that's the plus 10 that's coming from the Alliance benefit buildings. And then finally, you have, I think there was an Alliance event. If you look at the Alliance buildings and check details here, you'll see that we have 4 more days of the increase attack by 5%. So that's that 5%. So if you add all of these together, and you can see my analysis here, I did a summary of where is all of that coming from. Your lion's share is coming from officers. But don't discount the ones coming from equipment and extension. So if you look at equipment and extension, that's combined is almost 30%. Officers is almost about half. So I break it down to three chunks. Officers about 40 to 45%. The stronger your officers are, the bigger this chunk will be. Here you have kind of many small things adding up. You have limited ability to increase these ones because they're already kind of maxed at uh, prosperity and commander skills and academy. And then you have some decent, easy ways to increase your equipment here. Officers are going to be your biggest source. So that is not earth-shattering revelation. Most of you already knew this, but to me, the earth-shattering part was to understand that, yes, all of these things do go into it when you attack somebody in the mine. The only thing that doesn't go into it is Panda's inherent skill here of the advanced attack. So that's really important to understand. However, when you do attack somebody in your world and in an attack, it does go into play. So that's not um, to be discounted. One more thing to keep in mind is that when you defend, of course, you're going to get the my info stats number and not this siege attack because that would be a defense. Kingsley, I did not put into it, but Kingsley's inherent skill would also go into play when you're defending. Um, so hopefully this is helpful. It cleared some of the misconceptions for me about how the difference is between the two, uh, and it really helped me now how to focus on it and look at LRA from a analytical perspective. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I love this kind of stuff. If you want more analysis and want me to do some more analysis, please leave some comments and I will look into it for my next video. If you enjoyed this, smash that subscribe button and feel free to give me any kind of feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good one.